We are live and hot, baby. Hot and ready. Like a hot and sweaty pizza from Little Caesars.
Hot and sweaty.
We're here with Mr. Michael Schreiber. Michael, welcome, brother. Excited to have you.
Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, man, me too. I'm
Uh,
stoked to be on.
dude, I've been wanting to do this for a while now, and for whatever reason, you've just been ignoring me, and just keep pushing this off. And no, I'm just kidding. It just
Yeah.
we had a pretty full schedule, and then just worked out perfectly the last day of the month that we get you on here, and I'm super stoked. For those that don't know, Michael runs an agency called Fused Media. Fused Media is an agency that works with general contractors to help them bring more leads to their front door. They use a very specific system called the automated door knocker. It is gangster. They work extremely well. They get incredible results for their clients, and really excited to chat with him today on his journey of growing his agency, starting his agency, and kind of where he got started. So let's just hop right into the nitty gritty. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of people are looking at the thumbnail and seeing the Felon to SMMA agency owner. Obviously, one, give us a little bit of your background of like how you kind of got into the space, but we'll touch on maybe a little bit of the background of kind of what happened, if you're open to it, of course.
Yeah, man.
And touch on that a little bit. But how did you get into the agency space? What kind of made you want to jump into starting an agency?
So I actually probably like 2016, 2017, I remember getting like Ty Lopez ads and just being introduced to like the agency model. And at that point, I was helping run a landscape company with a buddy of mine. And it was just kind of like the landscape company was what was in front of us. So we didn't end up going into it then, but I learned a lot. I like took his course, and over the years, like got introduced to like Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels, affiliate marketing. And so, like did a lot of Facebook ads, drop shipping stores, stuff like that. And then eventually, fast forward a couple of years, things weren't working out with that landscaping company, and like we just weren't like aligned on goals. And I had wanted to start an agency for contractors, and all this stuff happened. Things didn't work out. And I just said, screw it, and like pulled the trigger and reached out to my network and asked if anybody wanted me to run their ads, and the agency was born.
Yeah. And as far as like when you went full time, what was that transition like, going full time into the agency? When did you feel comfortable doing that full time, or was it a immediate decision of like, forget this, like I'm done with this other business and I'm jumping full time in my agency?
Yeah, so I was trying to like negotiate equity in the contracting company because I didn't have any equity, but I was operating from like a partner standpoint. And they were bringing on different partners, and so it was a good time to have the conversation. The new partners didn't want me involved in it, and they were like, hey, if you want to start this agency, after you do your first 100K in the agency, then we'll give you like 7 or 10% or something equity in the company. And I just like, it was like a slap to the face, and I'm like, dude, I've helped build this company from like the ground up, and like whatever. So that ended up like giving me the push to just say screw it. And I went and asked people if they needed help with their ads, and like immediately got a sale. And then that's when I went full time.
Yeah, absolutely love
So
it.
it was just like straight into it, man. And
Yeah, I mean, you landed the first client and you're like, we got some traction here, we're gonna run with this.
Yeah.
So let's rewind just a little bit more, because I want to touch on this kind of like as one of our first points of topic tonight, which is your criminal background. And we don't have to go super in depth here, but I'm sure people are wondering, it's like, hey, what did Michael do? Because he seems like a pretty
SMMA
outstanding guy.
Felon,
He seems like a pretty guy with good standards, good values. What was it like kind of going through what you went through, and kind of fill us in a little bit on that journey?
It's actually hilarious, man, because, well, I mean, the situation isn't hilarious, but it's funny. Like, I forget sometimes that I am a felon. And probably like a month ago, I was thinking back to like different jobs that I had. And I remember I had this sales job, and I had like just gotten hired by the owner of the company, and like the HR department like called my desk and they're like, "Hey, there's an issue with your application. Like, we can't hire you. You need to leave." And I just remember like freaking out, like, what the hell, dude? Like, I couldn't get this job because I was a felon. I ended up staying, but yeah, I mean, so that one was, I mean, that's it's a DUI. It's a felony vehicular assault, is what I ended up getting convicted of, and charged with, because it was a DUI. I left the party on St. Patrick's Day. I was blacked out and I ended up rear-ending this guy. He got sent to the hospital. I woke up in jail and was just like, what the fuck happened? And I like asked the whatever you call them, the security officers there, like, yo, what did I do? They're like, well, right now you're in here for a DUI and potentially, vehicular assault, but the guy's in surgery right now, so it could be vehicular manslaughter. And I like makes me emotional now, like thinking about it, because it was like, oh my God, like something happened last night that like could have completely shifted the trajectory of my life. Thankfully, the guy was all right. He was completely fine, got a ton of money from insurance and never even dealt with any court stuff. He just disappeared. But yeah, so I was facing it was like 14 years in prison or something like that. Ended up, that got me back sober again. Like, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't do whatever. Yeah, I ended up with I think it was 90 days house arrest and 4 years probation.
Wow. And how long ago was that?
So that happened in 2017, St. Patrick's Day of 2017. Okay. Yeah. So I just got off probation. I think it was last year or the year before last. I don't remember actually, but yeah, I was taking P tests for so long. It's crazy.
Yeah. What does that contribute to kind of your drive now of knowing it all could have been taken away, like all of your freedoms, everything is 14 years in prison. That's obviously a big sentence. And then, obviously if it escalates to, if that guy would have died, obviously that's probably a life sentence that you're looking at. What does that do to one, for your motivation, but your drive to actually build a business?
Well, man, I mean, when it was initially happening, it completely destroyed my identity. I thought that I was the worst person ever. I always went along of that can't happen to me, right? I literally had a guy I knew in high school that got charged with vehicular manslaughter for a DUI. And it was still one of those things oh, it's not going to happen to me. I'm just driving home. Literally, I have 2 DUIs, one when I was 17 and then this recent one. They were both within a mile of where I lived because the drive was so short that I was going to be okay. Right. So anyways, but it completely, ruined my identity. I dealt with some pretty severe panic attacks. I had panic disorder, which is literally you get panic attacks because you think about leaving the house and potentially having a panic attack. So it's super messed up. I had to move back in with my mom. I was 23 years old, sleeping on a twin mattress in her office, watching Russell Brunson videos on, affiliate marketing and ClickFunnels and building funnels and running Facebook ads and all this stuff. And, but and I didn't leave her house for 4 months because I was just so terrified and hated myself so much. But since then, obviously, been freed of that stuff through a lot of prayer, meditation, therapy, breathing, all of the things. But nowadays, dude, it just gives me a position to be more grateful for where I'm at now. And like I said, I mean, I literally forgot that all of that, I forget that it happens. And then I'll be just randomly driving and I'll be oh yeah, I'm a felon. And it just doesn't, before it ruined my identity because I truly believed it. And not only was I a felon, but I was a violent felon. And so you literally can't get jobs because of that. And so it was oh my God, dude, this is how the world is viewing me now. And today I just don't identify with that, And so it just gives me gratitude and appreciation for like, excuse me, how I can lift myself up and overcome things.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's one of those things you kind of reflect back on, and it's like that is like one of the hardest times that you'll ever have to experience is that right there. So if you can make it through that, it's like, building a business seems easy. Building a team seems easy compared to this, and it's like those problems are so minuscule that we have compared to some of the past problems that we did have.
Right.
That's incredible,
Dylan's
man.
in here.
Big D in the building. What's up, dude? Bang, bang, chicken wang. Love it. Good to see you, brother. Cool, man. Well, let's jump into the agency side. Just crossed your first $1 million year this month. How does that feel?
It was pretty cool, man. It was actually, and I was pretty glad that it like happened the way that it did. But it happened like with a sales call that I was personally on and took and like collected the cash for it. So it was like really cool. But I remember like in the middle of the call, like realizing like, oh yeah, we were only X amount away and like this puts us over. And I like was trying not to cry while I was on the call with this dude. I was like getting all choked up, like, holy shit, dude. Like we actually did this, right? Because then I think back to those times where I was sleeping on the twin mattress in my mom's freaking office, where I would think about that, man, of like, damn, these guys are making these videos and they're doing 10K a month. Like, oh my God, like what I would do for that. And then, 6 years later, whatever it is, like to actually like achieve something like that is just like mind blowing, dude. And like, there's so much gratitude and like, I wish I could shout it from the rooftops just because of like like how grateful I am of it. And to be able to like share a story like I just shared of like, dude, listen, like if I can do this going from like facing prison time, drug addict, alcoholic to like where I'm at now, like anybody can do it, but you post that stuff and people think that you're an arrogant SOB. And it's like,
Yeah.
I share with my agency homies and
that's right.
and it works.
That's right. Yeah. 100%. How do you kind of, and there's two topics that I kind of want to like shift into from what you just said there. One, the 6 year aspect, but the second part being like how you deal with people that obviously you've had some sort of success in, whether that's family members, friends close to you. It's like sometimes it is difficult to share those things. And the story that you posted today, that Iman Gadzi was speaking on a podcast and he was talking about, it's like, hey, like when you're competing in sports, and a lot of us males have competed in sports at some point in time, it's like, you pat each other on the back when you win a championship or you do something really incredible, you hit a new personal record, personal best for whatever it is that you're doing. And that just doesn't translate to the business world, right?
Yeah.
It's very difficult because it's like, for us, it's like our personal records are, our highest revenue months, our highest profit months. How do you kind of combat some of that? Like, have you had to, drop, some friends from your life that you used to be close with and now they're just like, like, they feel like you're a little bit more arrogant? What has that kind of been like for you? Because I've had something kind of like that happen with me.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like I don't share a lot of our actual like data and revenue and stuff like that, so I don't really deal with it a lot. I mean, I think about it from time to time, and then I'm like, oh, people are just gonna be like, because of those times like 6 years ago when I was doing like affiliate marketing and network marketing, and I'd be posting all these, like I was the dude that was like, take out cash and post it on, like, hey, come join my new opportunity, see how much money I made or whatever. And like, those ones, man. And so like, that marketing method works, but like, it doesn't align with my values. And so I just kind of stay away from that stuff. And I think people can like tell too, like, we post like client results and it's like, okay, we have like all of these people and like, we're helping guys do like 2 million, 3 million a month in revenue. And like, I don't know. So I think people kind of get the idea, but like, I don't really deal with that. There's a lot of people that I just don't associate with anymore because I know that conversation would have to happen. And like, they would just kind of be like, oh, well, you're letting like the money, control you or whatever. And it's like, it's not about that. They just like don't understand the game. They don't understand the sport. And like,
100%. And so the second aspect of that was the 6 years that it took to build this. A lot of people are going to look at this and be
To
like,
be an
oh,
overnight
like,
success.
yeah, exactly. Essentially, Michael was an overnight success. It's like, that's not the case. Like, it took you 6 years in order to get this. Kind of take us through, not obviously each year, but like kind of take us through like the timeline of how this all kind of happened, and like what were some frustrating points during that journey, especially early on, and then when was kind of that tipping point for you? So I guess like let's start to frame it a little bit better for you. What were like some of like the starting aspects, like what were some of the most difficult moments where it was like feeling like wanting to throw in the towel, or did you have those moments ever?
With Fuse Media, no, because I think once it got to that 6-year point and it was like, we're doing this, it was like there was no question about it. Like, this was the path that I was going to go. I also had a daughter that was about to be born. My fiance, like, there was a lot of things that helped like kick my ass in gear. But the prior 6 years to that, I think it was just a lot of like self-sabotage or like self-constraint, like I had this kid in my DMs the last couple days, man, just like asking me all these questions about just starting an agency.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's asking all these different things, man, of like, what services did you offer? Did you have any experience? How do you pick this? How do you do that? And it was just like, I just saw myself in it, because it was like, when you're new and when you're like trying to figure out this opportunity, like, you just hold yourself back by like trying to solve problems that aren't even there,
Mm-hmm.
and like the problem is like, I don't have a client when you're new, right?
Yeah.
Or like, and people are trying to solve the revenue problem. They're trying to solve the problem of like, how do I get a sale? And it's like, I was thinking about this the other day too. Is like, that's not the problem that you need to solve when you're new. The problem that you need to solve is like, how do I just find one person to get a result for?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's free, even if they don't pay me, how do I find one person to get a result for and then use that result to get a paying client or whatever? But anyways, I'm going, dude, like, stop me if I go off track, because I
No,
feel
dude,
like
that's
I'm
great.
going
No,
off track
I
from your
love that.
question.
What
But
was it like? No, what was it like landing your first client? What did they pay you? The first client that you landed,
$1,000.
$1,000, and what did you
And it
deliver
was
from
just
that?
like a 1-month tester. He was
Yeah.
like, I'm down to test it for a month. What's even hilarious, man. And this is what, like, I'm a man of faith, you're a man of faith. Like, I don't know if your people are, but like, like things just align, man. And the dude later tells me, because like after a while, after we see some success and get some clients, and like, this guy's still a client to this day. And like, like I was texting with him the other day. But a couple months in, we're ended up talking, and I was just like, dude, I'm so grateful. Like, you decided to like give me a chance, man. Like, you have no idea what it did and like how it affected us, and like the success of our company. And it was just hilarious, dude, because he's like, yeah, what's funny, man, is like my dad wrote a book about, it's called like Being the First or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And the concept behind it is like being the first to like try something out with someone, or like give someone a chance or something like that. And I was just like, man, what a weird, crazy, coincidental world, right? Where this guy was like, this guy's dad wrote a book about like taking chances on stuff
Yeah.
like that. And like, all this, like he ends up being the first client, and like, it was just super cool, man. But it was awesome, dude. Like when that payment came through, it was like, it was just proof like, all right, this can work, how do I do
Yeah.
more? And I actually took that entire payment. Actually, I technically made $3 off that payment, because I turned right around and I bought a course on like how to like set stuff up professionally.
Mm-hmm.
Because, then it was like, cool. Like, I know how to deliver the service. I know how to get results, but I was like, I don't know how to build an agency. Like, I don't know how to like, if I'm going to continue to do this and get more clients, I need to understand like how to attract more clients, because I didn't have an onboarding process when this guy came in. Like, I didn't have a CRM, I didn't have tracking, I didn't have anything. And it was like,
Yeah.
if you're going to scale, you need those things. But that's where people have it all mixed up. Like the guy in my DMs he's asking all these future questions. And it's like, bro, that doesn't even matter. You don't even have a client yet. Why are you worried about that? All
Yeah.
you need to be worried about is like, give delivered results to the first person.
Yep. You got to
And
get the
that's it.
first one. Yep.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
So I don't know, but it was awesome, man. And I actually like we actually did like 11K our first month, because within a week that guy closed the job from the ads for like $90,000, and he like shared it in a group, and like he just became like an ambassador for Fused Media.
Yep.
And like all of these people came in. I got this guy that like paid in full, and I was like, what, people pay in full? Like, this is crazy, man. Like, so,
That's
but
incredible.
it's just like, I don't know. I had to go through all of the years of like learning the skills,
Yeah.
learning that niche too, and like understanding that niche so I could speak their language, build the relationships and the trust to where I could
Yep.
make that ask in that group that one time, and then start delivering for clients.
Yeah. Yeah. When was kind of like the tipping point? Like, obviously, you've been doing this for a while now. And after 6 years, right, of doing this, we're hitting $1 million for the first time. What was kind of the tipping point? Like, was it a slow growth to this, or was there a certain point during this timeline where it was like, oh shoot, the floodgates just opened?
Like with Fused Media and our
Hmm.
growth and hitting that first million.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think I always knew it was going to happen.
Right. Well, obviously, like, we knew, but like, was there a point on the timeline? Like, was it year 4? Was it year 5 where it was like, hey, like, this is where the floodgates have now opened, and like we caught a little bit of fire, and we started stacking revenue.
Well, I wouldn't even like, so none of those first 6 years were generating any revenue whatsoever. I was
Hmm.
like, I was working on the construction business and doing like drop shipping and affiliate marketing on the side, and completely
Sure.
failing at that. But I don't know that there was, man. I think it was just like shown to me that like it just needed to happen, and I
Yeah.
needed to go all in. And I think it was, like those 6 years was all about like, I just want to be my own boss. I want to control my own schedule. I want to decide when I'm going to do things and how I'm going to do them. And I wasn't getting that equity share that I wanted in that company. And it just finally pushed me over of like, all right, I'm going all in this.
Yeah.
And then it came.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Was there? I know recently you just took a vacation for your honeymoon, and you were able to kind of step away from the business for the first time fully without having to check your Slack channels, have to check your Discord, all of that. What, like, how did that feel for the first time, being able to kind of just step away and get some true rest?
It was kind of weird, man. And it was kind of funny too, man, because I noticed like there was people at the resort, like, they go and they like go into the public places and pull out their laptops like they want to be seen working.
Yeah.
And I actually really resonated with that in previous times of like wanting to feel important. And then I just realized, like, while I was out there, I was like, man, like, this is the most important and like influential I can be, is like, I don't have to open my laptop.
Yeah.
Like, I have a team that I can trust to run the entire company. And it was super weird at first, but then like, it was just nice. Like, I didn't have to think about anything, and I could just enjoy that time with my wife, and it was incredible.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
But then it opened up some new things of like, all right, well, why the hell when I'm back home what am I so busy with? Why am
Right.
I so busy? If I can do this and like literally not work for 10 days straight, or like 17 days straight, it was like, what, like, why, why am I so busy? What am I doing?
Yeah.
But that has allowed me, as of the last couple of weeks, to really like do an evaluation on like what we're doing, and like things that I need to delegate, and like what I need to focus on moving forward. So it was really cool. It was really eye opening.
Yeah. What were some, like, the big takeaways from that? What areas did you feel like you could optimize more? What were some areas that you feel like you had like wasted bandwidth on?
So a lot of it, like I said, when we hopped on, man, is like I'm looking to hire an executive assistant, because it's a lot of those like really random 30-minute, 45-minute tasks that just like stab into the middle of your day and like ruin productivity on those like big key. And here's the thing too, right? The further you get in like the CEO entrepreneurial business game, the more you realize that like some of the like best and most efficient work that you can be doing is just like sitting there and thinking. And like I used to like feel guilty about that, right? Of like, oh, I'm not like doing a task or whatever. But like as the CEO, as the business owner, you're the visionary, you're the driver of vision for this company. So like you need to be able to have that free time and that bandwidth to be able to like just sit there and dream and think and like plan stuff out.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely like payroll stuff was a big one that I need to like delegate and get to someone else, because it's just like random stuff. And it's literally like every Friday, especially with like contract work, you know, it's like I'll get a message from VAs at like midnight and they're like, hey, forgot to send payment again. you know, and it's like, oh crap, like stuff like that. Monitoring the inbox. I mean, I have like a whole list that I made on a Google sheet today actually of stuff that I'm planning to have an EA do. And yeah, I mean, we've got some pretty wild plans for 2023, and it's either gonna work really well or, you know, it won't. And that's fine too.
I have a feeling it's gonna work out well for you guys. Kind of shifting some of the conversation points. Obviously, see some books behind you. What are some of the inputs that you're consuming currently? What have been some game changer ones for you? As far as you know, things that you're consuming.
This brown one, right? This brown one right here.
The Bible.
The Holy Bible, dude.
There you go.
That's first and foremost for sure. Honestly, like I literally think that is like the driving force of my success over the last few years. That is like the one input that has changed since end of 2019. And yeah, that is like the biggest thing for sure. But the stuff that I'm reading now, and honestly, right now, I'm not even reading any of those. I just finished Evangelpreneur, which is like a Christian book about like being a business owner. But a lot of it is like video content and like courses that I'm diving into right now. And a lot of that is more like high level business stuff of like entity structures, taxes, data collection, and like understanding data. Because I think, you know, as with the goals that we have for next year, like part of that is like truly understanding this business at like a completely different level. And like there's gaps in knowledge that I need to fill on stuff like that. So
yeah, 100%. I love the learning about the data side. I mean, that's something that we try to harp on quite often, is like, hey, you have to understand you know, the data of your business, whether that's on the lead gen front, sales front. It's like the more you understand the data behind your business, like the more informed decisions that you'll be able to make on them, and the better projections that you'll be able to set that you can actually hit, right? And you understand the activities that need to go behind the business in order to actually hit those. So love that you're jumping into that. As far as you know, kind of protecting your inputs, this is something that we often see, like a ton of distraction. Obviously, we live in a world now where it's like it's very easy to get distracted by, you know, your iPhone, you know, your computer, whatever it is. How are you protecting yourself from your you know, distractions on a day-to-day basis?
The first thing I'll say about this is to like invest in people to teach you new things that you don't know. And what's funny is you connected me to the person that's like top of mind right now, which is Sammy G. And, you know, because he's introduced me to things that I would have otherwise not really thought about. I mean, you like think about them, you know, like don't use the phone in bed or whatever, but it's like, okay, you know, like most people will just like, all right, I put my focus mode on now and it's on my nightstand. But then it's take it that extra step of like, my phone's not even in the room. when
Yep.
we go to bed, you know, like my phone is somewhere completely different, so that I'm not like sitting there scrolling through social media. And honestly, like I constantly need work on this, right? Like there's periods where I crush it at this, and then there's periods where I'm like a freaking addict, like scrolling through, just like getting all these different
Yeah.
inputs or whatever. But I can quickly realize it now, right? Because like what'll happen is my thoughts will get off track or whatever. I'll start like comparing myself to people. I'll start like caring about things that I really don't need to care about right now. And then all of a sudden I'm trying to take this completely different shift in business. And it's like, wait, how did I even get here? It's like, oh, well, because I saw so-and-so post a video and it seemed like they're doing really good. And I started to feel behind, and like, now I need to, do all this stuff. And it's like totally unnecessary.
Yeah, it's they're great tools to utilize to grow your own following, your own business, but at the same time, it's like it can't be such a huge distraction. Especially, I love that you mentioned like comparing yourself to others. Man, like it's so true. Like every once in a while, like you'll see like competitors or whatever it is, like in their activity, you're like they're on a completely different, completely different journey than I am. They're on a different chapter. They're writing a totally different book. So I agree with that, man. That's good stuff.
Totally.
So as far as going into next year, obviously we're coming up to the end of this year. What are some of the some of the North Star goals, and you don't have to necessarily talk financials, but like what are you wanting to do with the team? What are you wanting to do with the culture of Fused in 2023?
I'm trying to plan out now. I'm trying to fly everybody out to Mexico to do
Let's
like
go.
like VAs, like media buyers, like,
Yep.
people that like normally would not get an opportunity like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just so grateful for them, dude. Like they've crushed it for the
Let's
last
go.
18 months. And like, so just like get the team together, kind of, really like, I think we have a pretty strong relationship now. Like we do games every Monday on the all teams meeting before we start. Like we'll do a little game, and it's a fun little competition. Everybody laughs, and like you can notice and feel that stuff, like bringing everybody closer.
Yep.
And so I think some sort of like event like that is definitely in the plan. Another reason I need an EA, so that they can just be the second brain to just go and like research all of that and book it. But so that's one of the things, man. And yeah, I mean, investing in our leaders, flying out some of the leadership team to agency founders,
Love it.
to just continue education for people, and just like help get aligned and connected and meet people in the space and get new ideas and network. And I think it's super important.
Yeah. Oh, completely agree, man. It's been that's been some of our biggest strides in growth when we were running the agency, and then as well with consultancy. It's like the more people that you're connected with in the space, the deeper those relationships go. It just opens the door to other opportunities, and it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly tied back to the agency. It can also be, tied to other wealth building opportunities. And that's the thing, man, is like getting in those right rooms that expand your mind in such a way that, like, if you just kind of stay in your own corner, your own circle, it's like you're just not challenged enough, right?
Totally.
And that's why I love like going to events, and there is a balance there. Like sometimes like there is too many inputs, and like too many cooks in the kitchen, if you will, and it can be sometimes a little convoluting, right?
That's why I go back to it again, man. Like hiring people to teach you things, consult with you, coach you, because you get information that you normally wouldn't get. And like one of the things that I got was like, when you go to these events, that is what happens, right? Like you hear all these people talk, and it's like, oh my God, there's so many different things that I can do, like lanes that I can take the business in. And it's like, on that flight home, look through all the notes and like actually think about it. Like, is this really what I should do? Is this something that like I need to take action on immediately, or something to just keep in the back pocket, or something that like it just sounded cool, man? Because most of these guys, like, they use that vernacular in their VSLs and their webinars, and like, so that's just meant to sell you and hype you up, so it's like,
Yep.
Don't let the hype kind of distract you, kind of thing. But yeah. And as for 2023, man, I mean, I haven't really like gone public with like what my intentions are, but I've got like a pretty cool idea of essentially like almost like franchising slash licensing. And so we're pretty broad in our niche, right? Like we're home service contractors.
Right.
So we
It's
service,
very horizontal.
yeah, we service a lot of different niches. We have a lot of great case studies in different niches. And so what the plan is to just plant these agencies that are extremely niche specific and essentially place in CEOs that are looking for opportunity, to where we teach them and take them through literally everything we've done with Fuse Media, give them the resources, time, finances, whatever, to help them build and scale. And I'm just going to create a monopoly over the home service construction agency niche. So
let's go. The takeover of Fuse Media.
Yeah. Yeah. And Fuse Media will just be, one of them. But yeah, and that's part of like the networking too, right? Is there's guys that are out there right now that they're running their agency and like they just, they know deep down like they're not meant for it. Like they're more of an entrepreneur kind of person. And like that's the kind of person that we want. Is I'm willing to, buy out their current agency, bring them in, give them all the stuff on our end. And like, then they can just entrepreneur it up and be the CEO of that agency. And we just help them be successful, and they don't have to have all the other worries that they have. So
yeah, 100%. Had Aaron stopping by, dropping some fire emojis. Aaron's going to be joining us, I believe, next week or the following week. I can't remember. I have to look at the schedule. But what's up, Aaron? Good to see you, buddy.
Dope, man. I loved his talk at Hydra Council, man. That was gold.
It was 10 out of 10. Yeah, man. I'm super stoked to chat with him in a couple weeks on here. So, but anyway, man, jumping back to kind of like the vision for 2023 and kind of what you guys are building out. Profitability has been something that has been super important to you as an agency, and it's been something that you guys have done an incredible job of I guess making sure like profit stays at the forefront, right? Like you guys have never been ones to chase top line revenue and sacrifice profit. Like, was that on purpose, or was it one of those things where it's like, hey, like we just don't need a huge crew to run this agency model, and so we're just naturally very profitable? What's kind of your take on the profit side?
It was always something that was top of mind, to be profitable. And honestly, it was something that I struggled with too in the beginning of like, like you want to be profitable. And then like, I would almost feel guilty of like, oh, like I'm focused on profit or whatever. But actually it was after like signing up with you and going through that course and like building core values and whatever, so for 12 or 13 months now, like our core values, one of them has been profit. And it's in a way where that's the only way that we can have impact. Like that's the only way that we can continue to deliver the best results for our clients, to hire the best talent, is to be profitable. Like we're doing not like, and also like for us to like, charity and contribution is one of our core values. Like I can't go sponsor high school girl basketball teams and like golf tournaments and like donate to the church. Like I can't do any of this stuff if we're not profitable. So it's always been like top of mind to remain profitable. And one of the ways to do that is to keep the team lean. And go back to like the faith thing, dude. Like the only reason that Dylan works with Fuse Media is because we're both men of faith, and that is how we got connected. And like, so like, that's like, I don't know, the stars align and you get someone incredible like that can handle like a lot of stuff at a high level too. And like to really actually give a crap about clients and like profit and like results. So, you can't have that without keeping that top of mind.
Yeah, 100%. Aaron wants to know how you're going to be structuring some of those deals, because you're speaking on acquisition a little bit. I don't know. No deals have happened quite yet, but do you have an idea of how you want to structure those?
So no deals have happened yet. That's correct. essentially the way that I have it planned right now is to like bring in someone as a CEO and just like literally hook them up with profit, like put them on a profit sharing plan that like is just bonkers. Because again, yes, we are extremely profitable, and like being able to share in that with someone, like it's a no-brainer. And the way that I think about this, man, is like you got guys like Iman Ghazi. They got a YouTube channel and a course, and they're, essentially what he's doing is he's teaching people to hone in on something that they're passionate about and just like deliver a service to that. And so, my concept with it is like, we're just finding that person that would otherwise purchase that course and giving them a fast track to success. So instead of paying us $6,000 for your copy and paste course, we're paying you for our copy and paste model, essentially.
Yeah.
And obviously we benefit too, right? Like we're going to make money, and as far as like from an acquisition perspective, like that, I think is like a case by case basis. And that's honestly too, like what got my juices flowing on that was a year ago, First Agency Founders, listening to Tommy talk about that. And I was like, this is probably the most genius thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And so, and it really is, honestly, I think it is just that, like finding that right person that like, they want to be an entrepreneur, or they think they want to be an entrepreneur, but they're really more entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like you still get to be the CEO of the company. You still get to drive like business decisions and, everything, but without the headache of everything else. Like, so
yeah,
it's kind of just like finding people like that and, helping them get what they want.
Yep.
And the deals will be interesting. I'm happy to share though. When that happens, I'm like so happy to share. I mean, as long as like, the legality behind it of like people are cool with like me talking about that stuff. But
of course.
Cool.
Well, if you guys have questions if you guys have questions for Michael, drop them below. Michael's crushing it with his lead gen agency. Currently, he's got a lot of plans to grow and expand in 2023. So drop them in the comments if you guys have questions for Michael. But kind of wrapping up with some of our last topics here, as some of the questions might be coming in. Partnership is something that you did recently. What was kind of the experience, obviously, with Dylan, bring him on? Having someone attached to your business is not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy decision to make, because obviously now there's multiple people involved in the decision making process. What was it like bringing on a partner in the business? Was that like a terrifying thing? Was it something that was like, hey, this makes total sense, we're gonna do this, like let's rock? What was that journey like?
Yeah, I mean, I think like we initially, I remember having that conversation with you, like even before it ever happened with Dylan, and like it just popped it into my head that like I needed help at a higher level. It was like I had the fulfillment down, right? Like I delegated all that, and it was like now I have all this stuff to do at like a high-end back level, and like I really needed help. And so from there, it was just getting to a place of like, the only way that I'm ever going to trust someone enough with my baby is by giving them skin in the game. And that's the only way you're going to attract someone that will care at that level and has the skills and abilities to perform at that level. Like an A player doesn't want to make a $40,000 a year salary with no bonus, no profit share, like no nothing, like you really need to like get them invested in it. And it was funny because I sent a few messages out after we had that conversation. I had a few conversations with people. I like jokingly brought it up to Dylan because we were doing like weekly calls at the time, just like chatting. And he ended up, parting ways with where he was at. And he just like brought it back up. And it was just like, I knew, like I knew that like, he's like a hired gun, man. Like the dude can do anything, and it was like, if I want this guy to stay, I need to get him in this, and so we just did it, we made it happen. And he's going to be, a huge part of the growth moving forward. And like, I don't know. My thing's always like people get rewarded, man. Like our media buyers will just like clients will have a sick month, or like I'll just see them like do things without me asking, and I just like send them money. I'm like, thank you. Like, this is what, like, like, thank you. You guys are amazing. We'll just give them a bonus, like anything that I can do, like, let me know, and
yeah, it's ownership, right? It's like when you see people taking ownership, you want to reward that.
Totally.
Love it.
Totally.
We have some questions from the crew. We'll drop them here in just a second. If you guys wouldn't mind, leave a like on the live stream. I know a lot of you guys forget to leave a like. Leave a like. Helps us reach more people, get more people involved in the live streams. That way people can ask questions. So let's jump into some questions. First one from Mr. Classy Mr. Osmond Torres. All the things you do, which bring you the most fulfillment?
I think the managing the team part.
Okay.
And I think like really trying to get the best out of people, and it like makes me emotional, man, because like I get messages from the team that are like, dude, thank you, like we're so grateful, and for this opportunity, like we're just extremely grateful for Fuse Media. And like that's the stuff that gives me the most fulfillment, is like we're making a difference in people's lives, like giving them opportunity, giving like I don't, like every employee at every level has the opportunity to like put their 2 cents in. And like I ask them questions on big decisions, like, what do you guys think about this? Like, is this stupid, or do you have like a better way or a better idea or whatever? And like really trying to, like, employees put their life into your company, literally 40 hours a week, they're like, they're building this thing with you. And so it's like, I don't know, I could go on a tangent about that, but probably that, man. Or, same thing with clients too, like getting messages from clients like, dude, honestly, like I was on the verge of bankruptcy before we went and started working with you, and I had $2,500 in my bank account and I gave it to you. And like, now we're doing over 100K a month, like crushing it. And like, that stuff's like, damn, that's fulfilling, like really having an impact is fulfilling.
Yeah. That's the stuff, man. I mean, that's the impact right there. That's, and I see you post it all the time on stories, and I hear you talk about it all the time. It's like impact over profit. And it's like when you put that first, when you put the results of your clients, but also your team before everything else, like everything else falls in line, right?
Yeah, man.
It's good stuff. Let's jump to Aaron's question here. How do you qualify your leads, lead forms, or landing pages?
Like our client acquisition process, or like for?
Yeah, I think he's more talking about like when you get a lead through the door, which it's funny because you haven't really run paid ads, or very minimally run paid ads. Like you're leaning into it now, and I'm assuming he thinks that like a majority of your clients have come through paid ads, which they haven't. But like when you have someone come to you and whether that's organically through a referral, how do you qualify those people in order to fulfill for them on a service, or see if they're a qualified client?
Yeah, we send them to a landing page that has a form on it with questions that are important to us. Like where are they at in their business? How much revenue are they doing? Are they like, do they have employees? Do they have crews? Like things that are important to them being successful with us. Because there's a lot of guys that are like brand new, in the home service industry, and maybe they have a couple grand and they want to give it a shot, but it's like, that's not how you get great case studies, is, going with people like that. You get great case studies by understanding who gets the best results from your service and only working with those people. And we're guilty of taking on people that, don't perfectly fit that, and those are literally the only refunds we've ever had to do. So it's pretty hilarious, but, leads for the clients. So we leverage Go High Level. We white label Go High Level, and we actually do like messages with the person. So we don't do like Facebook lead forms or anything, we do message campaigns, and then we like manage that conversation through automations in GHL, and then we send them to a landing page that has a form, and we build out that form. They're all pretty similar, but some clients like they have like one or two different questions than normal, but most of the time it's pretty standard, like where are you located? What do you want to have done? Do you have a budget? If so, how much is that? And like, how soon are you looking to have the project done? So then when they fill out that form, our clients know like if it's someone they want to like really pour some time into, or if it's someone that's just, they just need to have a quick 3-minute conversation and direct them elsewhere.
Love it. It's good stuff. Another one from Oz here.
You meteoric rise.
I love the use of meteoric rise. How do you keep a level head?
Her name is Haley Schreiber, my wife.
I love it.
I would say that, man. And I go back to it again, like investing in coaching and consulting and stuff like that, like understanding where I'm weak at, where I lack at, and like investing in like getting that stuff better. Because that's a lot of it, right? Like you get to a point where you just get so busy, right? And like busy's not good, but strategic is good. And so like learning how to like manage time better, manage my brain better, manage my ideas better, like how that process works of like idea to like get it somewhere else. And it is a constant struggle.
Yeah.
Part of why I'm hiring an executive assistant, because I need a second brain.
Yeah. And I always feel like when you expand your circle and when you start to get into the rooms with these other people, one thing that you'll notice is like the most humbling thing is to see someone that is 10 steps ahead of you and doing things on such a bigger level. And I'm like, oh shoot, like I'm still a small fish, right? And very rarely when you get into these rooms with other people, do you feel like you're the big dog in there? And like that keeps my ego in check always, of having people that are always ahead of me and always doing stuff at a much bigger level. Like I love getting together with people like you, Michael, but also like people like Aaron, who are, I mean, they're doing massive months. I mean, like multiple 6 figures per month. And I'm just like, holy cow, like how incredible to be to be able to do something like that. But at the same time, he's such a humble dude because he surrounds himself with people that are steps above him, right? And the cycle kind of continues as you grow your business. And so that's what I love about the network of agency owners that we're building is like, man, everyone's at different spots, but everyone's so humble about where they're at, and they're always willing to reach a hand across the aisle and help another person out.
That's actually why I struggled with personal brand content so much, is because the people that I surround myself with, I feel like that's like where my brain is, right? Like that's my community. And so I think like I can't provide value to these guys, like I'm extracting value from these guys, and then it was like, oh wait, but like all these people, there's so many other people like me 6 years ago where like 10K a month was absolutely astronomical. And like, if I can teach those people really well, and like I have value to give to those people, or I have value to give to people that are at our current level or even beyond, like I have conversations every week with guys that are in the same industry niche and they're doing like even a little bit more or like right around us. And like, there's things that we're doing well that I can help them and vice versa. And like, so anyways, I'll go on tangents far too often, sir. So
no, it's all good stuff. I absolutely love it, man. It's so good. Let's see here. Aaron had a question. I don't know 100% what he means by this one. Opinion on seat pressure and player iteration versus loyalty and training. I guess for this it would be more of like a high performance culture, I think is kind of what he's getting at with seat pressure and player iteration of like swapping people in and out simply off of KPI versus, hey, we're going to train the people up. We're going to stay loyal to the group of people that we have. And if they fit the culture, we're going to make it work for them. I think that's kind of the two sides of this that he's kind of asking. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. A couple things. First thing that comes to mind is like slow to hire, quick to fire. which I've had to do multiple times this year, is let people go that they're just not a good fit. But the other thing, and this is where it's like finding a healthy balance, is like in our core values too, is investing in leadership. And so it's like, where do I draw that line of like, this is not a person that I feel like, even if I invested in their leadership, like they just wouldn't be a good fit to continue on with us. But I'm always for investing in the current people.
Yep.
I probably message like our VA team once a month, and I'm like, let me know if you find any courses that you guys want, that like, you know, stuff that you want to learn. It doesn't even have to be your department. Like, just let me, you know, if it's like health, fitness, anything personal, like anything at all, like let me know.
Yeah.
And I want to help you guys be better people, you know, like to achieve your goals outside of this company and inside of this company.
Yeah. So if they're a good culture fit, and obviously they're trying, but they're not hitting KPI, what's kind of your stance on that, of like, you know, getting someone up to KPI or getting someone to the point where it's like they seem like a good culture fit, they're great people, but they're not necessarily performing at a high standard?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know. I think one thing that I've always been gifted with is like intuition. And for me, it's like I can tell, like I can just tell if this person is going to be it or not going to be it. And so and I give them the opportunities, right? And I like phrase questions in ways where I can like dig out that information of like where they're at. And I think it's pretty easy to tell. And like, and I think honestly, like I think we're all very intuitive people. It's just a matter of like understanding and listening to that small voice that continues to tell the same thing over and over again about the same person. It's like there's a reason for that, you know. And so I typically just go with that.
100%.
And it's worked out really well, man. I mean, like, you know, I don't know. I've probably fired like 6 people this year.
Yeah. It's it's one of those things where like sometimes your gut instinct is the best thing for you, right?
Yeah. And if people are like not willing to have those conversations with me and like get transparent on that stuff, I mean, it's a pretty telltale sign of like, it's just not going to work.
Right. 100%.
I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. No, it's definitely helpful. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop them below. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream. Would appreciate it. You guys helps out. Reaching more people helps us get to our goal of getting to our first 500 subscribers. We'll do one more question from Mr. Oz here, and then we'll wrap things up for the night. If you guys are just joining us, welcome. You missed most of it. But rewind the stream. You can go back, watch it. If you're joining in from some place like Facebook, you might have to wait until the stream ends to rewind. But rewind, watch it. Michael's been dropping some fire knowledge on us today. But let's wrap it up with Oz's question here. What's one hurdle that took you a long time to overcome? And what's a hurdle that you see today?
I'd say the hurdle that took a long time to overcome was like the misconception that I needed to be busy. And like, I don't need to be busy. I need to be efficient and effective. And like, so it was always, you know, like I had to have this long ass list of stuff to do every day. And like, if I didn't get it done, I would be just like mentally just so hard on myself. And it was like, well, Michael, you were never going to get that done.
Yeah.
And so that's been like one thing of just like, and I think where that goes even deeper into is like allowing myself a longer time horizon. And that goes into what we were talking about earlier of the distractions, right? Of like, you know, I feel like you go on social media and you see all these people, and then all of a sudden, like you have to get this 8-figure business tomorrow. And it's like, you know, because that's the inputs that we're taking in. And so it's like being able to just like get that stuff out of my life, focus on the right things, and allow myself a longer time horizon. Like I get more done than when I shorten that time horizon. It's interesting. A hurdle I see today. I don't know, man, but I'm practicing jumping.
I love it. Beautiful, man. Real quick, tell everyone where they can find you. Plug something if you want to. Where can everyone connect with you?
Yeah, man. My address is. I'm just kidding. Come find me, dog. Show up. What am I? I think I'm _ Michael Schreiber on Instagram. That's my name on Facebook too. And those are the places that I hang out.
Beautiful. I'm gonna drop the link to your Instagram in the chat. If you guys want to connect with Michael, you can find him there.
Or in Josh's Slack channels. Find me in there. Find me in the agency therapy Discord. That's just hanging out there.
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna do some revamp of the community side of things. We've been kind of neglecting it just because we've had a little growth phase over here at Hydra, and obviously we have to put the clients on the forefront of that. So, but we have some cool plans for the community side of things with agency therapy. We're going to be launching a couple other live stream things, which I will talk about tomorrow. If you guys want to come hang out tomorrow afternoon, same time, same start time, so 5 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be doing another live stream. You're going to see a lot more live streams for myself, just different segments. So obviously we'll have the interviews like we did with Michael today, and we'll be doing some other cool things as well, where I'll be doing some share screens, stuff that we're building out. So you get to see a little bit of the internals of what we're building at Hydra. And then also we'll be doing some more segments on like I'll bring topics of discussion to the table and you guys can come listen, all that good stuff. So awesome, man. Well, Michael, thank you so much for coming, man. I really appreciate your time. Anything else that you wanted to chat on today? Any topics that we didn't get to cover?
I don't think so, man. It's just cool what can happen in a year.
Yeah, man. Got to give yourself the time horizon, right? Like look at it through the macro lens, not through the day-to-day growth lens, because like you could beat yourself up pretty quickly if you do it that way.
Yeah. I was just this little small-time guy popping into Discord, listening to agency therapy, just getting nuggets, dude. Getting nuggets.
Yeah, man.
And now Josh has me on here just talking about random stuff and hoping that I don't sound like a dummy.
Dude, you did an incredible job. We'll definitely have you back on in the future. And I would love to do like a lead gen roundtable of like maybe like 6 or 7 of our lead gen agencies that we're working with on a regular basis and do kind of like a roundtable style. I think that'd be really cool because we can have, I think, up to like 12 guests inside of this Restream app. And so we could do kind of like a roundtable and talk a little bit more in depth on the lead gen side and get some input from everyone.
That'd be sick, man. There's not enough stuff out there for just lead gen people.
Yep.
I think.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time. Much love. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Later, man.